So President Trump is announcing the framework of a trade deal with the United Kingdom, saying it's the first in a series of agreements to come. Watch.
I think that it's a great deal for both parties. It's for us. This one just went very smoothly, went quickly and smoothly, and a lot of common sense. We're going to take it to new levels. It's a very big deal right now, but I think it is going to grow.
You know me, I like to stay in my lane, so let's bring in the professor, co-host of the Big Money Show on Fox Business, Brian Brimberg, to help us break down the key details.
All right, let's do it.
What do we get out of it? And then we'll talk about the UK.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about what we're going to be doing with the UK, what we get. First of all, that 10% baseline tariff, I want you to see that. That is what President Trump laid out for all countries, really, when he laid out the big Liberation Day tariffs. That stays on. That's a clue to you that no matter what kind of deals we get going forward, they're probably going to have that 10% baseline. Now, we'll see, but that's what it looks like. A couple of big things that American businesses get. Look at the tariff rate on U.S. ethanol. That was more like 18, 19%. That comes down to 0 now under this deal. So American sellers of ethanol have more access to the UK market. Wow. The overall average tariff rate for all UK products that we sell to the UK down to 1.8%. And the estimate is that's about $5 billion in new export opportunities for U.S. businesses. So for U.S. businesses wanting to sell into the UK, a lot of things open up here.
A lot of money on the table. But we didn't just shun the UK. They got something out of this too, right?
That's right. They got a little bit out of this as well. Of course, it's a deal. So one of the big things they get is on airplane parts, okay? The U.S. is going to sell Boeing $10 billion of Boeing jets to the UK. In return, we're going to take UK airline parts at a 0% tariff. So Rolls-Royce engines for those jets, for example, will come in at a 0% rate. The UK also gets to sell 100,000 cars to the U.S., not at the 25% rate that was in place under the Liberation Day tariffs, but at a 10% rate. And 100,000 cars is about what the UK sells to the U.S. anyway, so they're going to get a better rate on that. And then this is a really big one. Remember the 25% steel and aluminum tariffs? What the U.S. is doing is creating a sort of steel and aluminum union with the UK. And they're saying if you keep dumped steel products out of the UK, you can sell your products to us at a 0% rate. So there's an alignment there on steel and aluminum in particular.
And a lot of people are looking at this deal because it's the first deal, but also people are wondering, what will this deal compare to China as well? People are starting to see the pain. We got some breaking news from the President of the United States. He just posted this on Truth Social. An 80% tariff on China seems right now, but it's up to Scott B., referring to the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. What say you,
okay,
Brian?
so this is going to be, I can't wait to see how markets react to that news. Yesterday, he said, look, we've got a 145% tariff on China. That's very, very, very high. It really can't go any higher, he said. So he expected that to come down. Now, the question was, what would that come down to and how fast? Obviously, if the president's saying 80% to Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, he's looking for this weekend to yield some kind of pullback on those tariffs. Now, I imagine the president has high expectations for what China's going to do in return for that, but that's a pretty big deal. And what it signals, like the UK deal, is there is more to come, which shouldn't surprise anyone. The market kind of went ballistic when we saw the tariffs come on. But if you've watched President Trump, you know he's a deal maker. He wants great deals for the U.S., but he also wants the U.S. economy to thrive. I think he wants the stock market to thrive. That's what you see happening.
I've been saying this for a couple of days now. He may be one of the most lucky individuals. He said don't panic, and it looks like these deals are about to start rolling. Let's see how the markets are going to...
I think he'd probably say you got to be good to be lucky, but whatever.
That's so true. All right, Brian Brimberg, you can watch him on the Big Money Show from noon to 2 p.m. Eastern on Fox Business Network. And he's going to be co-hosting Fox and Friends Weekend this weekend.
Lots going on.
I'll be watching.
All right.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.